A life of struggle. He was born in a small, forgotten village. His family had no wealth. They lived in a mud house with a broken roof. When it rained, water dripped inside. The floor was made of dirt, and there were no beds, just thin mats. His father worked long hours in the fields. His mother washed clothes to earn a few coins. Even then, there was barely enough food. Some days they ate once. Other days they went to sleep hungry. They had no electricity, no fan, and no clean water. At night, he studied under the light of a smoky kerosene lamp. His school was far away, and he walked there every day, rain or shine. His slippers were worn out, but he kept walking. His clothes were old and torn, but he never complained. He sat quietly at the back of the class. He listened more than he talked. He had no toys, no games, and no phone. But he had something powerful. He had a dream. 2. The power of a dream. Even as a child, he dreamed big. While others played, he asked questions. He wondered why some people were rich and others poor. He watched the stars at night and imagined a better life. He didn't want to remain poor. He wanted to change his future. Not just for himself, but for his whole family. He borrowed books from his teacher. He read stories about inventors and leaders. He studied them carefully. He found an old, broken computer someone had thrown away. He brought it home, fixed it, and started learning. He didn't know coding, but he taught himself. He didn't have fast internet, but he had patience. He learned business ideas from books and free online videos. He wrote his dreams in a notebook every night. And even though no one believed in him at first, he believed in himself. That belief became his greatest power. 3. Small steps, big vision. From the very beginning, he understood that success wasn't a straight path. He had a dream, but no resources. He didn't have the luxury of a big budget, fancy equipment, or even proper tools. What he did have was his desire, his hunger for success. Every day he would take small steps toward his goal. He knew that every small step mattered. At first, he worked from his small room in his house. It wasn't a big space. The walls were bare and the floor was simple. He didn't mind, though. It was his space. He started fixing broken phones. He wasn't making much, but he didn't care about the money. He cared about learning. He didn't just repair phones, he learned how they worked. He understood the technology inside them. His reputation grew. People started coming to him for help. They trusted him because of his honesty and hard work. It wasn't long before he started saving money, but he didn't spend it on anything unnecessary. Every penny went into his dream. One day, he used his savings to buy a second-hand laptop. It wasn't powerful or fast, but it was enough for him to start. That laptop became his tool, his teacher, and his guide. With this laptop, he began to build websites. He learned coding, programming, and design through online tutorials. Some days he would stay up all night learning. Others he would fail miserably. His first websites weren't good. They were basic and full of mistakes, but each time he failed, he got better. Slowly, he improved. He began working for local businesses. He built websites for small shops, helping them reach customers online. His work was not perfect, but it was good enough. It was a start. And sometimes, that's all you need. His clients were happy. Word spread. People began to trust his skills. He knew this was his chance. His hard work was paying off. But it wasn't just about work. It was about the vision he had for the future, a future where technology would help those who had nothing. His dream wasn't to become rich, it was to make a difference. He wanted to solve real problems, and the first step to that dream was this small, simple beginning, the breakthrough. The moment that changed everything came when he least expected it. He was working on a new app, a simple app for farmers. Farmers in his country had been cheated for years by middlemen who took advantage of them. These farmers didn't know how to sell their crops directly to customers. They didn't have a way to reach a wider market. This was the problem he wanted to solve. The app he created helped these farmers sell their crops directly. No middlemen, no extra costs. The app allowed farmers to get a fair price for their hard work. He wasn't just building a product, he was creating something that could change lives. It wasn't perfect, but it worked. One day, a message came in. It was an email from an investor. At first, he thought it was a scam, but it wasn't. The investor had seen the app online and was impressed. He saw the potential. The investor believed in him. He offered money. He offered mentorship. This was the breakthrough he had been waiting for. With the investor's support, he began to scale his project. The money helped him improve the app. He hired a small team to help him. Together, they worked long hours in a tiny office. The office was simple, but their dreams were big. They built the app further, fixing bugs, adding features, and improving the user experience. They didn't have much, but they had passion, and that passion made them unstoppable. The app began to grow quickly. It wasn't just used in one village anymore. It spread to nearby towns, then to cities. Farmers from all over the country were signing up. They were benefiting. Their lives were changing. The app had become a tool for real transformation. People started to notice him. The media covered his story. Schools invited him to speak. He was now a symbol of hope for many young entrepreneurs. But he never let it get to his head. He stayed grounded. He remembered the days when he was just a poor boy trying to make a difference. He still visited his village and helped the farmers he once worked with. His success was not just about money. It was about making an impact. His company continued to grow. The once small app became a big success. And eventually it reached $1 billion valuation. He had gone from a poor boy with a dream to a billionaire entrepreneur who had changed lives. But no matter how big his success became, he remained humble. He knew where he came from. He knew what it took to get there. And he was ready for the next challenge. The challenges of success. The journey to success was not a smooth ride. While the app was growing and people were benefiting, there were many challenges along the way. The challenges were unexpected. They tested his patience, resilience, and faith in his own vision. First, there was the challenge of scaling the business. As the app reached more people, the servers began to slow down. The software needed constant updates. His small team was now working around the clock to fix issues that arose. They had to find solutions quickly. People were depending on the app, and the pressure to keep it running smoothly was immense. Then there was the problem of competition. Other tech companies saw the potential in his app and started copying it. They tried to offer similar services. Some even had bigger teams and more resources. This made him anxious. How could he compete with companies that had millions to spend on marketing? But instead of giving up, he focused on what made his app unique: its impact. While the competition focused on profits, He focused on helping people. He worked even harder to improve the app's features. He listened to the farmers' feedback and made adjustments accordingly. He knew that his product's value was in its ability to solve real problems. That belief kept him going. The third challenge came from his own growth. As his company grew, so did the number of employees. He had to learn to manage people. At first, he struggled with leadership. It wasn't easy to transition from being a small business owner to being the CEO of a growing company. He made mistakes. Sometimes he had to fire people who didn't fit into the company culture. Sometimes he had to take tough decisions that hurt his heart. But he learned. He grew as a leader. The financial challenges also started to mount. As his company scaled, so did the costs. He had to raise more capital to keep up with the growth. But investors wanted results. They wanted to see profits. The pressure was immense, but he didn't lose sight of the bigger picture. He knew that real success wasn't just about numbers. It was about building something that could stand the test of time. Despite these challenges, he never stopped moving forward. Every setback taught him something new. Every failure gave him valuable lessons. He learned to be patient, to work smarter, and to keep pushing even when things seemed impossible. Success wasn't easy, but he had learned that it was worth the struggle. 6. Giving back to the community. One of the things that set him apart from many other entrepreneurs was his desire to give back to his community. While his app was helping farmers and businesses, he knew there was still more he could do. He had been given a second chance in life, and he wanted to make sure that others had the same opportunity. He didn't just want to donate money. He wanted to make a real difference in the lives of people who needed help. He believed in the power of education. He knew that knowledge could change lives just as it had changed his. That's why he created scholarships for students from poor backgrounds who wanted to study technology and business. He partnered with schools and universities to provide opportunities for the next generation of innovators. But it didn't stop there. He believed that local businesses were the backbone of the community. He began organizing workshops for young entrepreneurs in rural areas. He taught them the skills they needed to start their own businesses. He shared his own story, the struggles and successes. He wanted to inspire them. He wanted them to believe that no dream was too big. He also helped create programs that trained farmers on new technologies. He knew that these farmers were the lifeblood of the economy. By helping them improve their skills and connect with the right resources, he knew he could make an even greater impact. He worked with local governments to make sure that technology reached even the most remote areas. As his company grew, so did his efforts to give back. He didn't just write checks to charities, he got involved. He rolled up his sleeves and worked alongside others to bring about real change. He knew that true success was measured not by how much money you made, but by how much you gave. In addition to his charitable work, he also made it a priority to create a company culture that valued giving back. His employees were encouraged to volunteer in their communities, and the company regularly donated a portion of its profits to causes that aligned with its mission. This created a ripple effect, where more and more people joined in to make the world a better place. Through his personal and professional efforts, he built a legacy that wasn't just about financial success. It was about helping others, lifting them up, and making the world a better place for all. He knew that if he could change the lives of just a few people, it would create a chain reaction that would spread far and wide. His story was no longer just about him. It was about a movement, a wave of change that had started with a poor boy and had grown into a force for good. And he wasn't done yet. His journey was still unfolding, and there were still many more lives to touch, many more people to help.